Hey, what is up, you sexy beasts? My name is Shadowfax, and or Louise, whichever you want to call me, and today we've got some Battlefield 1 domination gameplay on the map, Ballroom Blitz, which I didn't think I was going to like this map, but, you know, I've grown to love it. And I absolutely love Battlefield 1, and people are saying that Battlefield 1 wouldn't be a COD killer, and I don't think it will be as such in the general grand scheme of things, but for me, it definitely is a COD killer. I still haven't bought COD, and I still won't buy COD. Not interested, but Battlefield 1, oh hell yeah, baby. Absolutely loving it. And as you're going to see in this video today, we're doing a little bit of more aggressive sniping, more closer range, a little bit more objective based, which is always good. And I've actually been playing this way for the last few days because if any of you guys know, like if you've been subscribed to my channel for a while, you do know that I actually really enjoy sniping. And especially in games such as Battlefield 1, where it's a little bit more realistic. And so I really do enjoy it, and so I do tend to gravitate more towards the scout class. I do play other classes, the assault class, the support class, the medic class. I'd say my second favourite class to play is probably the medic class. In all Battlefields, but I do really enjoy playing with the scout class. I don't know why, I just absolutely love snipers, and I love games where the snipers have to be used a little bit more realistically. As you know, in COD, you can quick scope and all this shit, and even in COD I do enjoy using snipers, I don't have as much fun with them as I do in games like Battlefield because it is more realistic. And because of this, like I said, I usually use the scout class, but what I would do a lot of the time is I would sit back, like a lot of snipers do in Battlefield, and snipe from a distance. And though, yes, you could say that's the way snipers are supposed to be used, I have been watching, especially since Battlefield 1, I've been watching more Battlefield YouTubers, and also FaZe Agony, of all people. He's been playing sort of more aggressive sniping on Battlefield 1, and he seems quite beastly at it, and he's been getting some really good sort of feeds and stuff, and it just looks like he's having a ton of fun. And then I've been watching a YouTuber that I've sort of only just sort of come to know, and his name is I'm Average Sniper, and he's a Battlefield sniper. Yeah, and he does a little bit of he'll sit back and snipe, but he is a little bit more sort of a medium range sniper, and he'll get a bit more aggressive and get on those objectives. So, and you can't really moan at a sniper that gets on the objectives, can you? I mean, I get fed up with snipers that sit back and do absolutely nothing for their team apart from trying to snipe from stupidly long distances, and they miss every shot. Everyone gets mad with them, but and I try to, when I do snipe from a distance, I try to be helpful. I try to snipe people off of objectives. But I'm telling you, since trying out this more aggressive type of sniping with the different, the more closer range scope, and just sort of getting into the action, I've really been enjoying myself a lot more. It's been so much fun. And in this gameplay in particular, you'll see me quite getting into the action. I did take objectives a little bit later on. You could say that I was camping, but I would call it more strategically patrolling a small area where I could see two objectives and was trying to hold them down. But really, I was able to do that simply because my team that I was on, we had a very good lead against the other team. They were very good at capping objectives. And I did help in my part by getting people off of the objectives and by holding down the roof bit round this square, because that is where a lot of the enemy team kept trying to get up to get a height advantage, and I did my best to keep them off of there. So I feel that I was contributing in this gameplay, even if I was a little bit campy. So anyway, I don't think camping's so bad in Battlefield. Like, if you are proper, like, sit in a corner with a fucking LMG and you're just not moving, then you should just, like, contract flu. But if you're actually, just holding down a certain area, that is partly what Battlefield is all about. It's holding down an objective, and that's what we try to do. So, yeah, guys, I ended up actually doing really well in this game. But one of the reasons I also did really well was because my squad mate, which is actually my friend Andy, he was a medic, and he kept me stacked up on health so that I could keep going and I could keep sniping these fools. And that's something else that I really love about Battlefield, is that teamwork just reaps rewards. It really does. You can really be a team player and help your team to victory. Or in this case, Andy really was a team player and helped his best friend get a really good KD. But the sniping in this game, like I've said, I really enjoy sniping anyway, but for some reason in this game, it is so satisfying. And in that sense, it kind of reminds me of the sniping from Battlefield 3. Now, I really loved Battlefield 3. It was the first Battlefield that I played properly, and I really enjoyed sniping on that Battlefield 3. I wasn't particularly good, and I do remember doing stuff like really not being an objective-based player sometimes. Sometimes I would, sometimes I would run and gun, and I would run around with my RPK, and I'd do really well with it, and I would be on the objectives the whole time. But if I was sniping, I would probably not be so much of a help to my team. I'd try and keep the objectives clear, but at that point, sometimes I would just be like, you know what, I'm just going to go on, I'm going to snipe and just fuck about. And I remember the highway map, it was called Science Highway on Battlefield 3, and you could sit on your MAV, I remember when that glitch was still out, and sit on your MAV and use it to get yourself up on top of the actual highway, and then have a snipe off with the enemy team. They'd sit back in their snipers would sit back in their base, their home base, and they would just, you just have a massive epic snipe off with them. And I remember me and my friends used to do that sometimes. It used to just be a lot of fun, and we were contributing. We were keeping the enemy team snipers busy and keeping them back in their spawn, so that our guys could quite happily go around and cap objectives. But yeah, I Battlefield 3 sniping always, even though I wasn't very good at it, I always found it very, very satisfying. And with Battlefield 4, I never found it as satisfying. I think the zeroing in some way took away the satisfaction, whereas in Battlefield 1 there is zeroing on your sniper rifles, but it's nowhere near as much. It only goes up to 300. So, and I one of the things I did love about Battlefield 3 was that you had to actually calculate your shots, whereas Battlefield 4, I feel that just made it a little bit more easier. But it was also just the fact of, I don't know why, but Battlefield 4, it was a good game, I did enjoy it, but I just never found it as entertaining as I found Battlefield 3. I absolutely adored Battlefield 3. Maybe that was because it was my, one of my first proper first Battlefields, I don't know. But I really, really love Battlefield. It's really brought the joy back into gaming for me, because I was really starting to not enjoy gaming so much recently, and I wasn't sure if it was just because the games that are coming out I wasn't enjoying, or if I was growing out of games altogether. And that would have been really sad, because I absolutely love gaming. I may be nearly 29 years old, but gaming's not just for the young folks. I want to be like 80 years old, sitting in a care home with my Xbox and like fucking trashing on noobs. It'll be fucking brilliant. It'll be absolutely amazing. And that's what I want to do. So but with Battlefield and how much I'm really enjoying it, it's just shown me that no, I'm not growing out of gaming. It was just simply the games that were coming out were not my cup of tea. So, but of course there are a few things in Battlefield that I do not like, but to be honest, there's not a lot. The majority of the game I do like. There's a few niggling little things that piss me off, like the Model A10 shotgun. That pisses me off, but you're never going to be completely happy with the game. There's always going to be something in the game that like pisses you off. So you got to take the good with the bad and just make the most of it. So expect to see a lot more sniping gameplay from me, of not just you've seen me use the Gewehr M95 today, which is the only sniper rifle I believe in Battlefield 1 that does not have a sweet spot. So in other words, it does not have a radius in which it will be a one-shot kill if you do not manage to hit the head. But I was using that gun simply because I was using the SMLE, the Smiley, the carbine variant to do the aggressive sniping before, and though that does have a sweet spot, sometimes I was, it wasn't in the sweet spot, and so I was getting a one shot on them, and it needed a second shot to be followed up. And I found sometimes in close quarters, it wasn't quite fast enough at pulling off that second shot, where the Gewehr 95, even though it doesn't have that sweet spot, it is that little bit faster at getting that second shot off, so that's why I switched out to that. But what I'd really like to do is just get better at getting the headshots, and then I can get a one-shot kill all the time. So that's really what I'm aiming for, is to be fast and aggressive in my close quarters sniping, but to also be able to get that those headshots and be able to just be even more efficient with the sniper rifle. But anyway, guys, I think that's coming up to the end of the gameplay today. There you go. 25 and 2, did pretty well, especially thanks to me personal medic. But anyway, guys, I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I hope you're going to continue watching, and I'll see you in the next one. I love you guys. Bye!